Hello friends, welcome to Kanazawa. I'm sitting here on the western edge of the expansive Kanazawa Castle grounds. Up the hill over there is where the actual castle once stood, and on the other side of that was a garden called Kenroku-en, which is considered one of Japan's 3 most beautiful gardens. However, I like it over here better. And relatively few people even come over this way, so it kind of makes it a nice place to sit down on a beautiful day and just appreciate being alive. So I have a question for you. When you were in elementary school, did your mom make you lunch? And if she did, what did she give you? What did you get? You know, kids I went to school with, most of them got ring-dings and ding-dongs with their sandwiches. I got an apple and a carrot. And I got made fun of. I think. Never really heard it much, but I'm sure I did. But even as a second grader, I didn't care. It didn't bother me because that's the way things were in my family. That's how my mom did things. My mom was a world-class coupon cutter. And she could have probably saved a chunk of change giving us ding-dongs and Twinkies instead of fruit and vegetables. But you know what? She made sure we ate healthy. And that's the way my sisters and I grew up. Eating healthy at school, healthy at home, healthy on vacation even. Although it's not like my mom was draconian about it. I mean, we always had cookies and stuff laying around. We had ice cream nights twice a week. Christmas cookies, chocolate Easter bunnies, jelly beans, birthday cakes, all that. But underlying everything was the foundation of eating healthy and being healthy. And we all grew up with that instilled in us. And I certainly took that with me. My father inspired me in a slightly different way to be healthy. When I was growing up, I remember he always had high blood pressure and a beer belly, basically. But when I was, I think, 16 years old, he had a stroke. And I didn't know much about strokes. I thought he'd be okay after a little while, but he never recovered. And that hit me pretty hard. So from that time on, you know, with what my mom had taught us and what my dad had showed me, I really tried to take care of myself through high school, through college. Never smoked pot. Plenty of secondhand smoke, I suppose, but drank a bit. But, you know, overall, tried to take good care of myself. And I thought by doing so, I'd be okay. And I never had any health issues. Never even had a cavity. Couple torn ligaments in my knee and a bunch of sprained ankles, but that's a different story. I was in good shape. For my 50th birthday, I ran up a mountain. Ran is a generous term, but ran up a mountain basically. When I was 52, climbed a mountain with my sons. Around that time, I went on a 60-mile hike with 35 pounds on my back through the mountains. When I was 52, November 2022, I did a couple cycling tours. Then a couple months later, collapsed on the sidewalk from a heart attack. Luckily, some people saved my life. Spent a few days in the hospital being amazed at my luck, being elated that I was still there, still alive, filled with gratitude, joy, relief, all sorts of things. But then when I went home, I started getting pissed off. It pissed me off because there were millions of people out there living lazy, gluttonous, slovenly lives. And I'm, you know, spending my years trying to be as healthy as I can, and I'm the one who has a heart attack. I'm the one who ends up on my living room floor in the middle of the night scared to go to sleep because I'm scared I might not wake up. Feeling my own body, feeling my chest, feeling my heart, you know, a couple inches from my fingers. Beating slowly, erratically, wondering if it's going to stop again. It was really tough to take. It was really hard to rectify all these emotions. And finally, I had to just let them out. So I started writing an email to my mom, telling her how maddening it was and how unjust and unfair things were and how it made no sense that I would be the one in this position. But as I wrote that email out, I said something like, it's a good thing I've been taking care of myself all this time, because if I hadn't, maybe I wouldn't have made it through. And I stopped and thought about what I had just wrote to my mom. And things kind of became clear to me that taking care of myself, as it turned out, was not to avoid what was coming down the road at me, because my dad and his brothers had pretty much every health problem you can have except maybe cancer. And a cousin of mine, after all this had happened, said, yeah, the guys in our family, we've got some suboptimal tickers, is how he put it. So maybe me taking care of myself wasn't to avoid the health problems that were in my family so much as surviving them. And that's pretty much how I look at it now. The doctors have never been able to say with 100% certainty what caused my heart attack. Very likely my artery was blocked by either some plaque buildup, or I'm thinking, in my uneducated diagnosis, that through all the things I've been doing, involving denying my age, running up mountains and riding my bike way too far and hiking way too far with too much weight on my back, I'm thinking that maybe I got a small rupture in my artery, and that started a clot to build up. I don't know. But whatever it was, I have no idea if it's going to happen again. I have no idea what's coming. So while that's a little bit tough to deal with, I find some sort of self-affirmation in that, if having taken care of myself did help me survive my first heart attack, continuing to take care of myself, hopefully, not that I hope it happens again, but if something else is coming my way, stay healthy and hope I can survive the next one too. Soon after this happened, and I kind of let everybody know what had happened, a friend of mine from college, he's a doctor now, his name is Fadi. And Fadi commented at, he said in his words, it's crazy how little control we have. And I will always remember that, because, it kind of describes perfectly what happened to me. I did everything I could do, and still there I was, dead on the sidewalk. Luckily, I'm still here. So moving forward, doing what I can do and trying to accept what I can't control is very challenging sometimes. But that's something I'd like to get into in the next video, is talking about how there are certain things we can control, certain things we can't control. And we have to kind of separate the two and focus on what we can control. And that includes controlling my thoughts, because more than eating healthy and exercising and just being physically healthy is being mentally healthy through all this. That's something that is an entirely different level of self-care. And that's something that I'm still mulling over. I'm still trying to straighten out in my head. But it's something that I'd like to get into in a video that I'm going to do down the road, among the many I have planned. So I've said this before, I'll say it again, folks. If you have someone who you think might want to hear these videos, might want to listen in, might get something out of them, people who have been in certain situations that not many others have, can use someone that understands them. And if I can be that person for someone, fantastic. Put me in touch with them. We can talk. Or just let them know that I'm here, that there are other people out there who know what they're going through. Sometimes that's all we need. For now, that's it from Kanazawa, Japan, and the lightly trodden, very beautiful side of the Kanazawa Castle Gardens. See you all next time. Oh, and by the way, I never sent that email to my mom. But I would like to say, Mom, thanks for all the apples and the carrots.